Welcome back to Sports Talk ATL. I am Jake. He is Alex. So we got a report this morning that apparently a Pascal Siakam trade is "quote unquote" imminent, which is interesting because I thought for a while that it really just lost all momentum and it wasn't going to happen. So the Bleacher Report cooked up, which let me preface this by saying I absolutely hate NBA trade hypotheticals. They always don't make any sense. This one really is no exception. It is a mess. So I'm going to read it off. Just bear with me here. So it's a four-team trade that does involve the Hawks. It's the Hawks, the Mavericks, the Hornets, and the Raptors. So the Raptors would get DeAndre Hunter, Tim Hardaway Jr., Maxi Kleba, James Bouknight, Vic Krejci, a 2029 first from Atlanta, and a 2030 first-round pick swap from Atlanta. You got all that? Good. So the Hawks would get Pascal Siakam, Gordon Hayward, and a 2027 first-round pick. Solid. The Mavericks would get Clint Capella, Thaddeus Young, and Kelly Oubre in a sign-and trade. The Hornets would get Bogdan Bogdanovic, Otto Porter Jr., and Christian Wood in a sign-and trade. You got all that? Good, because I'm definitely not repeating it. I think this is I think this is kind of ridiculous. Obviously, it's kind of goofy, though. I mean, you can just have fun with it. I think the Hawks get the best return out of anybody here, though. You obviously have some risk present, though. Gordon Hayward, I think, is an impending free agent. He's an expiring contract, but he's not a big deal. Pascal Siakam is definitely a flight risk. We've talked about that on this show many times. But you get a 2027 first. And, at the end of the day, it can kind of end up being a wash with the 2029 first, the 2030 pick swap, and Hunter and a 2027 first. But you do get a chance to re-sign Siakam. I think this trade is definitely interesting. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about it ad nauseum. I'm sorry that we're going to keep going back, but this was just too good not to talk about. 4-team trades rarely happen, especially one that sees, 16 players, 12 players moved. The Hawks want Pascal Siakam. It's been reported. It's been confirmed. It's just the, meat and potatoes of the whole deal. We haven't had, that to work out. A lot of people report it's going to take a third team to kind of facilitate a trade. I don't mind what the Hawks gave up. First of all, DeAndre Hunter hasn't realized his full potential. He is on a 4 for 90 in today's NBA is, a reasonable deal for a guy who's averaging around 15 points and can defend on the other end. I believe he could still put it together. I've just put so much faith in him. I can't give up now. But if we moved him for Pascal, I would not be upset. Bogey has struggled to stay healthy, and though I love him off the bench, can facilitate a little bit and can get his own shot. Just the Serbian sniper, love that guy. I really do love him. But again, his knees are kind of dwindling. He hasn't really stayed healthy since he's been a Hawk. They did just extend him, so I feel like the Hawks wouldn't necessarily want to trade him. They extended him for a reason. Quinn Snyder loves three-point shooting. He's our best shooter. There's no arguing that. Clint Capella. I love Clint Capella too. Move him. I want Onyeka Okongwu in the starting lineup. He provides so much, a much higher ceiling than Clint Capella does offensively. So I don't mind that one bit. Gordon Hayward also has not been able to stay healthy. He's going to cost like $30 million. That is an expiring contract. So there is, we won't have him for that long. But Pascal's the price. If you can't extend Pascal, it's maybe not worth it, though you do clear DeAndre Hunter's salary, Clint Capella's salary, and Bogey's salary, paving the way for AJ Griffin, Jalen Johnson, and Onyeka Okongwu to kind of establish themselves as significant contributors in the Hawks rotation.
Yeah, and looking at this deal, I understand, like, for the Mavericks, it makes more sense to add, Kelly Oubre. But if you take the Hornets out of this deal, I think it makes a lot more sense. Because, the first-round pick that the Hawks are getting is coming from Dallas. And Thaddeus Young, I believe, is it? Yeah, he is in Toronto. So, you eliminate James Bouknight, who has been really not that good from this deal. You don't give the Hawks Gordon Hayward. You don't give the Mavericks Kelly Oubre. The Mavericks still get Clint Capella and Thaddeus Young for a 2027 first, and Tim Hardaway Jr. and Maxi Kleba, who's not on a great deal, and Hardaway's not on a great deal. You could still make this work, and I think that makes a little bit more sense. I feel like the Hornets are kind of shoehorned in here. That is a deal that I do think could make sense for all parties involved, because the Mavs have wanted Capella. That's not a big secret. Thaddeus Young is the type of wing that they need, especially defensively. And, you're not really diminishing the return that the Raptors are getting here. I think if you just kind of take the Hornets out, this gets a lot less convoluted. It makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, honestly, if I was the Raptors, I wouldn't do this deal. I just don't know what Pascal Siakam is worth. Like, to me, what they're asking, that's not what it's going to take. But then again, he's a rental. He's basically a rental. You get him from 1 year. You might not be able to sign him. He's made it known he wants to test free agency. I just don't know what he's worth. And some of these trades are just like, Toronto's really not getting all that much. Especially,
I mean, should they really though? You're talking about
see, again, that's that. You know, you got to play.
He's already diminished his own value by saying he's testing free agency and he's not signing an extension. And if he hadn't said those things, maybe it's a different story. But
it's just hard to gauge this entire. This entire topic is just hard to gauge because the Raptors think his asking price is sky high, and what are you going to give up for a rental? I just don't know.
Who knows? Maybe when we're doing this show tomorrow, we'll have an actual trade, but maybe it'll involve the Hawks. I don't know. That's going to do it for us tonight, guys. Thank you so much. Check us out on the site, sportstalkatl.com. We'll be back tomorrow.